Ask a man about his watch, and he will tell you it is the finishing touch on the outfit. The last little detail that pulls the whole look together. He has it backwards. The watch on your wrist is the tell. It does not reveal your taste in watches. It reveals your real relationship with getting dressed, whether you dress with intention or dress to dodge a decision entirely. So let us read 7 men by the one thing on the wrist they cannot fake. So how does this actually work? Your watch sits at the one spot on your body you cannot hide, right there next to the hand you shake with, in every photo. It is the most honest thing you own. And before anybody in the comments feels personally attacked, I have been at least 3 of these men, and I have owned the watch that was trying way too hard. We are going in order, from the man optimizing his mornings to the man who threw the watch away for good. And keep an eye on that last one, the guy with the bare wrist, because he gives away more than any of the other 6, and almost everybody reads him wrong. Number 1, the smartwatch guy. Apple Watch, Galaxy, the little rectangle that buzzes when he has been sitting too long. Watch how this man gets dressed, and you will notice it is not really getting dressed at all. It is a system. Performance fabric everything. The merino tee, the joggers that technically count as pants, one pair of clean white sneakers on rotation because choosing shoes is friction, and friction is the enemy. And the watch is the tell, because a smartwatch is barely a watch. It is a tiny computer he wears to close 3 rings and make sure the morning runs on rails. And this is where it stings a little. This man is not dressing to say anything. He is dressing to delete a decision. Getting ready was a problem he solved exactly once and refuses to ever reopen. And you know what? It works. He is never underdressed, never a mess, never the guy who wore the wrong thing. He looks consistent every day of his life. But consistent and memorable pull in different directions, and a uniform built for pure efficiency is quiet on purpose. Quiet on purpose, given enough time, becomes quiet with nothing left to say. The next man has the opposite instinct. He is not deleting decisions. He is making one very loud one, and he is aiming it a full notch above everybody else in the room. Number 2, the dive watch on dry land. This is the Submariner guy, the Seamaster guy, or, way more often, the homage version that looks close enough from across a dim bar. And watch what he does when he gets dressed. He is dressing one notch above the room. Wherever he is going, he wants to read as the sharpest guy there. So, he buys the uniform of the man he is trying to become and wears it a little early. I know this man intimately, because I was this man. I owned the dive watch. The deepest water it ever touched was a hotel pool, and I was wearing a bathrobe at the time. The watch on his wrist is rated to survive 300 meters underwater, and the most extreme condition it will ever face is a rooftop happy hour. But dressing up is fine. Nobody loses points for aiming a notch high. What gives him away is more specific than that. The tell is when the watch is more capable, more considered, and more expensive in spirit than the entire wardrobe wrapped around it. His style is writing a check his closet has not learned to cash yet. And that gap right there is the whole game, because nobody reads your watch by itself. They read the whole picture, and attention to detail is what separates a good outfit from a sharp one. Your watch is only one part of the signal you send. People read the whole picture, and the small details are what separate a good outfit from a sharp one. One of the details most men quietly get wrong is the belt, and that is exactly where today's sponsor comes in. You know what ruins a great outfit fast? An old, beat-up belt that does not fit right. Plenty of guys are still wearing belts with stretched-out holes that either pinch at the waist or sag and throw off the whole look. That is why I am glad to have Anson Belt and Buckle sponsoring today's video. This is a family-run company that has been around since 2009, and they reinvented how a belt is supposed to work. Instead of holes, Anson uses a micro-adjustable track with quarter-inch increments, so the fit is dialed in every time. Once you feel that kind of fit, a regular belt starts to feel like a downgrade. And because any buckle mixes and matches with any strap, you always have a belt that suits the outfit without a drawer full of belts you never wear. But this is not only about looking put together, it is about feeling more comfortable and more confident in what you wear, because the belt adjusts with you whether you are sitting, standing, or moving through the day. I have been wearing mine non-stop, and it is the best belt I have owned. And if you are wondering why you should trust them, this is a company that is still proudly family-owned, has earned over 40,000 five-star reviews, and backs every belt with a lifetime guarantee on the functionality. They stand behind what they make, and once you own one, you will see why. And because Anson Belt & Buckle is sponsoring today's video, when you click the link in the description or scan this QR code to build a box set, you'll get 2 bonus pieces, a buckle and a strap, completely free. You'll get 3 buckles and 3 straps, which can be mixed and matched into 9 unique belt combos, all in one box. This is a deal you don't want to miss out on, so click the link, build your set, and upgrade your belt game today. All right, back to the wrists. Because the next man is the one guy in this entire lineup with almost nothing to roast, and that is exactly what makes him a little insufferable. Number 3, the thin dress watch guy, or the vintage leather strap guy. The one who honestly just gets it. Watch him get dressed and there is nothing to fix. Fewer pieces, better fit, quiet colors that agree with each other instead of fighting for the spotlight. And on his wrist, a thin dress watch on a worn leather strap that sits perfectly flat and slides under a shirt cuff without catching on anything. Because he understands that a watch is supposed to live with the outfit, not shout over the top of it. So where is the roast? There barely is one, and that is the entire point. The only thing you can really get him for is that he knows. He knows he is doing it right, and there is a very specific kind of smugness to the man who cracked the code early and now gets to watch everybody else overpay for the same lesson. But he earned that smugness, so we will allow it. Because this is the level almost everyone underrates. Restraint reads as expensive, even when it is not. A slim, well-chosen watch on a good strap will outdress a wrist stacked with steel and logos in any room that matters, and it does it without appearing to try at all. This man figured that out before he ever spent real money, which means that when he finally does spend real money, he already knows exactly where to point it. He is not the flashiest wrist in this video. He might be the only one who is genuinely finished. And the man coming up next is his exact opposite in every way. Where this guy whispers, the next one walks around with a bullhorn. Number 4, the oversized, flashy chronograph, the two-tone gold and steel guy, the big logo, 44mm, look at my wrist guy. This man dresses to be seen, and he is not remotely subtle about it. Contrast everything. A jacket that photographs incredibly well. A watch roughly the size of a drink coaster that catches the light from clear across the room. Every piece he owns is engineered to be noticed first and understood second, and the watch is the loudest instrument in the whole band. So the honest part is not cruel, it is just true. When a man straps that much volume onto his wrist, it is usually because he is not fully sure the rest of him can carry the conversation on its own. The watch is doing the talking for him. It walks into the room a good 3 seconds before he does, and announces a version of him he is still hoping to grow into. And look, it works. In the narrow way it was designed to work. It gets attention. Heads turn. But attention and respect are 2 different signals, and they do not always travel together. Attention is cheap, and it is fast. You can buy attention on a wrist in a single afternoon. Respect is slower and quieter, and it tends to land on the men who stopped chasing the first thing years ago. The oversized watch tells you which of the 2 he is still going after. And quick thing before we keep going. If you have caught yourself in any of these first 4 men and you are still watching instead of closing the app in shame, do yourself a favor and subscribe, because I read a fresh set of wrists like this every week. Now, the man coming up at number 5 is where this gets interesting, because he will look you dead in the eye and tell you he does not care about any of this. He is lying, and his watch is the proof. Number 5, the field watch guy, or the classic Casio guy, the deliberate minimalist, a plain, honest watch worn on purpose. And this is the sneaky one, because his entire look is an anti-fashion signal, which is still, if you sit with it for a second, very much a fashion signal. He has stripped the wardrobe down to a repeatable few: solid tees, one good jacket, boots that have honestly earned their scuffs, and a watch that cost almost nothing, keeps perfect time, and asks the world for zero attention. Comfort first, function first, nothing for show. So the contradiction that gives him away is this: he will tell you, with a straight face, that he does not care how he looks, all while caring about it very precisely. Nobody arrives at a wardrobe this clean and this consistent by accident. That kind of consistency is a decision made 100 separate times. not a decision made 0 times. The plain watch looks like the total absence of a choice. It is actually a loud choice wearing a convincing disguise. But before you roast this man too hard, understand that opting out is a real and legitimate position, and it can break in 2 directions. Done with real intention, this whole thing reads as quiet confidence, a man who truly does not need the watch to do any lifting for him. Done lazily, the same look reads as a man who gave up somewhere around his late 20s and then rebranded the surrender as a personal style. The watch by itself will never tell you which of those 2 he is. You have to watch how he wears everything else around it. And that brings us to the 2 men that people get spectacularly wrong. Number 6. Looks like the nicest guy in the entire video. He also might not have gotten dressed by himself in years. Number 6. The gift watch guy. The fossil his wife picked out. The graduation watch from his parents. The wedding day piece he has not taken off since the ceremony. And this is the man who, if we are being fully honest with each other, does not really dress himself. His watch was chosen by somebody else, and the second you notice that, you start noticing that most of his wardrobe was chosen by somebody else too. The shirts a partner bought because they were on sale and they fit fine. The jacket his mom got him 3 winters back. The whole closet is a group project he never signed up to lead. So the gentle roast is this. The last piece of clothing this man chose entirely on his own, for his own private reasons, was a long time ago, and it shows. He is not underdressed. He is not sloppy. He is just walking around in a version of himself that a small committee of people who love him assembled on his behalf. But I want to be careful with this one, because there is something real and good buried in here. A watch worn for years out of pure loyalty. A watch he would never in a million years replace purely because of who gave it to him. That says something genuinely warm about the man wearing it. That kind of loyalty is rare, and it is worth more than any wrist stacked with cold steel. The catch is that loyalty and intention are simply not the same thing. A closet assembled by other people, however much they love you, never quite fits right, because nobody else on earth actually lives inside your life. And the last man on our list solved this exact problem in the most extreme way a human being possibly can. He took the watch off entirely, and he desperately wants you to believe that makes him the smartest man in the room. Number 7. The no watch guy. The bare wrist, no bracelet, no band, no nothing. His phone tells him the time, and as far as he's concerned, a watch is a solved problem that other, lesser men are somehow still paying good money for. He believes, deep down, that the details are all a little beneath him. Real men, he figures, do not need trinkets on their arm. Now remember, way back at the start, when I told you the 7th man gives away more than any of the others, this is exactly why. Because the bare wrist is the hardest one in this entire video to read correctly, and nearly everybody reads it wrong. Walk past a naked wrist and you will assume you already know the whole story. You will usually be wrong. Because an empty wrist is still a signal, and it splits cleanly into 2 men who look identical and could not possibly be more different underneath. On the first man, the one who truly has nothing left to prove to anyone, the bare wrist reads as total effortless ease. He is so far past caring about accessories that going without becomes its own quiet flex. That man does exist, and he is rare, and when you actually meet him, you feel it in about 4 seconds flat. But he is badly outnumbered by the second man. And on that second man, the empty wrist is not confidence at all. It is a man who checked out of how he presents himself years ago, decided somewhere along the way that the whole game was rigged or pointless or beneath him, and is now praying nobody notices that opting out was never a strategy. It was a retreat. He calls it not caring. Everybody standing around him can see it as something a lot closer to giving up. And one last thing should make all 7 of us a little nervous. The watch never once lies about which man you are. You only have to be brave enough to look down at your own wrist and read it. So that is all 7, from the optimizer who deleted the decision, to the aspirational guy whose wrist keeps outdressing his closet, to the quiet one who already figured the whole thing out, to the loud one chasing attention when what he wanted was respect, to the minimalist who cares very precisely about not caring, to the loyal man living in a wardrobe other people picked for him, and finally the empty wrist that reads 2 opposite ways depending entirely on who is wearing it. And that is the uncomfortable thing the watch keeps quietly trying to tell you. How you dress has almost nothing to do with clothes and almost everything to do with whether you make your own decisions or avoid them. And your wrist has been keeping score this entire time. So do me one favor before you go. Look down at your own wrist right now, be honest about which of these 7 men you are, and drop the number in the comments. Do not lie to make yourself look better. I already confessed to being 3 of them. And before you go, if your belt game needs the upgrade we talked about earlier, the Anson link is down in the description with that free box set bonus.